know that if you hold a coin and you flip it over and over again, you can make it so that it's not just 50-50 chance. If you put your intention into it, and studies show this and prove this, by the way, you put your intention when you flip it and it changes the outcome. It changes the possibility. So basically, by putting your intention into something, you can change the outcome. And really, it's the same with our lives. And that's kind of how manifestation works, by putting your willpower and your desires out into the world. And so you may be wondering, then why do I hate my life? I'm kidding. Hopefully it's not that bad. But seriously, I feel like all the time people are miserable and don't really like where they're at in their life or aren't making good decisions. And it's like, okay, if all these internet gurus say it's that easy to just manifest my dream life, then why hasn't it happened yet? And let me tell you, I've done a lot of research and I'm just going to stream of consciousness on you guys and hopefully a little bit of it resonates. But I've noticed there's a big problem in the modern world, especially in America, where it's always do, always accomplishing. And I think that we are very stuck in our left brain. What does this mean? You guys have probably heard of left brain versus right brain. And right brain is more creative, artistic, intuitive, and left brain is more logical, analytical. So why is this a problem? Because you're only using half of yourself when you're only using your left brain. This means you're only tapping into 50-50 chance, and when you're making decisions or going about life, you don't have any control over those circumstances. It's like if you were going to invest in something, would you make that decision if you only knew 50% it might happen or might not? No, that's a bad investment, but that's how we're walking around doing life. You aren't using all of yourself. And this goes so much deeper than we realize, because it's not just, okay, you're using your left brain, but not your right brain. What you're really missing out with not using your right brain is huge, because your right brain actually taps into also your three brains, your right brain, your heart, and your gut. And so left brain is more thinking and right brain is more feeling. And when you can feel and you can take in senses from your heart and your gut, everything changes. And this is the reason why we see businesses, that hurt people and hurt the world, don't care about the environment. They're only coming out of their thinking side of their brain. They're not tapped into their heart or their gut. They're completely cut off from their feelings. Right? Because your heart is also where your moral compass lives. So we're making worse decisions without our values because we can't sense our moral compass. And we're also not getting to use our intuition at all, right? Think about when people say, I have a gut feeling. That's your intuition kicking in. And it's proven that our eyes pick up 40 million bits of information per second, but once it goes through the brain, we actually only process 20. That is a major, major difference. And so you're getting like nothing, and anything you are getting is only processed through your brain, so it gets colored by all of your programming, your beliefs. It's like if right now I said, okay, focus on everything, find everything red in this room. Okay? So what did you see that was yellow? Right? It's always, our perception is always skewed. We can't focus on everything at once. So there's always that bias in play. So if you want to get past that completely biased 20 bits of information per second and want to tap into the fuller picture and vitality of life and be able to make better decisions, manifest faster, and build that life you really want to have, you definitely want to be able to tap into your heart and your gut to get more of these 40 million bits per second. And this isn't just some metaphorical thing. I'll do a follow-up video about this if you guys want to hear more about the science. But the neurons, the scientists used to think they're just in our brain, but there are actually massive amounts of neurons in our gut. That's referred to as the second brain, and also a ton of them in the heart, and they run directly right from the brain to the heart and to the gut. And these pick up so much information, but most of us are cut off from that. Now, let's think about it like we are a computer. If you're training a learning model on a computer, what does it need? It needs feedback and data to understand how to change. Same thing in relationships and communication. You need to give feedback to someone in order for them to change. And what's happening here is there's no feedback. There's a lot of lost learnings and unprocessed trauma stored up in the body. There's no heart to feel the feelings and release. I don't know if you guys have heard this, but they say that all your emotions get stored and trapped in your body, and that later they turn into ailments like physical illnesses and problems like that. So it's really important that our heart is turned on, it's working the right way. We get to feel things in order to release them so they don't get built up in our body. Another big thing is, we're just walking around completely in our head. Today we are very logical, analytical, and we're taught that feelings are weak. And the only thing that's really honored now is just how much can you think and do and achieve. So we've lost this whole other part of ourselves that we used to have. And especially for women, I think this is extremely damaging because we are walking around way more in our masculine energy. And I'll put the number on the screen here. I have to fact check it, but women have, I think, 30% more of the fibers that connect the left and the right hemisphere together, which means we are already way more creative, artistic, intuitive, and that makes sense, right, when you think about women and how they are. And that's because our ancestors, we needed intuition as mothers to know, where are my kids and are they in danger, even if we didn't have eyes on them, right? That intuition is very important. And the right side of the brain really also makes women way more of who they are. So it's super damaging now just being like girl boss babes. And I'm an entrepreneur, so I know this very well. And it's been a huge part of my journey, learning how to tap more into my feminine. But keep in mind, both genders have masculine and feminine energy. And it's a balance, right? This whole thing is a balance. And this whole video is about coming back to being balanced because we're out of balance. No wonder we're so anxious and crazy. We are so stressed out. And so here's some quotes I journaled down from something in the past that I thought connected really well to this. Just like how we build a house to escape from the elements, we build an inner temple to let our nervous system calm down from the world raging around us. And so here's a little bit of a diagram of that. If you can think about the universe as a wheel, and we are at the center here in the calm, the hub of calmness in the center. And out here, think of centrifugal force on a merry-go-round or something, or in a tire. It gets faster and crazier towards the outside, and that's like the chaotic universe. But it's calm in the center, and that's where your heart is. And they say that God lives within you in your heart. Think about it. When you feel love, everyone associates love with your heart. God is love. God lives in your heart. So the only place for the mind to rest is in the heart. But think about it. We're all stuck up in our heads. I was stuck up in my head avoiding making this video for weeks. I put this on a board weeks ago, and I've been too perfectionist, stuck up in my head and not in my heart to make this for you guys. So now I've dropped down into my heart. I prayed about it. I did a gong meditation about it, and here I am sharing it with you guys. So let's get out of our heads and into our hearts. Let's drop into our bodies, into our senses, and learn how to feel, what is my heart telling me? What is my gut telling me? And that way we can be so much less anxious. We can get calm and centered. And a big example of why that conversation is important is here. The mind is like, oh, something's going on. Should I do this thing? The gut is like, no, I have a bad feeling about that. Don't do it. And then the mind does not listen because it's only using the left brain, and it goes, I'm doing it. It's the wrong decision. And the heart goes, wow, that hurt. That was definitely a bad decision. But the mind doesn't pick up on it or get that feedback the way we are currently living fully left-brained. And so that person will continue to make bad decisions over and over and over again because they're missing out on that feedback. But if they are tapped into their three brains, their right brain, their heart, and their gut, then they can go, oh, there's a lesson there, and get that feedback and check in with themselves. So it's really important whenever you're about to make a big decision, especially, just take a second, calm down, descend from your head into your heart, into your body, and just feel yourself and go, is this the right thing to do? And see if you can feel any physical sensations come up in your heart or your gut, because a lot of times they do. And the more you start listening to this, the more you let your intuition do its thing, the louder that voice will get, the easier it'll be to make those good decisions. It's kind of like having the classical, the angel and the devil on your shoulder. Originally, the devil might sound really, really loud, but the more you lean into what the angel's telling you, the angel will get louder and louder. And that's just one way I see it, or at least how I perceive it. And that'll also be like, just hearing my higher self or my intuition get louder than just my ego or, my selfish human wants are, versus what's serving my purpose and mission here on earth and my bigger dreams and goals and helping other people. So to circle back to the beginning, we're thinking with our left brain or feeling with our right brain. And when we're feeling, we can get information from our heart, from our gut, and that intuitive radar is also on, which is so important. And I drew here, and this is kind of a diagram pulling together all the different layers of what you see up here. You can see the center in the heart, and that's where the peace is, that's where God is. That's where you create a channel that's open to hear intuition from God. And out here you can see how it gets all swirling and crazy, but if you're here, you have that calm and you create a protective vortex around you that allows for that intuition and the good things and the calmness to funnel in and keep all the craziness to the outside. But usually people don't feel this at all, and no wonder I feel like now it's not normal to believe in God anymore, sadly. In America, it seems to be skewing way more atheist, and I feel like that's just because people can't sense it. Like, they're just told what to believe, and they're like, well, I've never felt a connection with God, so it must not be real. But no wonder they can't feel it. They're fully in their left brain. They're only focused on the materialistic world and what they need to achieve. They're cut off from their other senses, and then they're filled with toxins from their food, the environment. Don't even get me started. That'll be a whole nother video. But you can't sense what's happening, what's coming up, what your intuition's telling you, because you're not tapped into your feelings. Think, feel, feelings, emotions, right brain, more emotional, right? And emotions really are a superpower, because if you can get your brain and body working together, you're going to have a whole new experience. You're going to be able to make those decisions and begin to create that dream life you've always wanted to have. All your manifestations are going to begin to click. All the synchronicities are going to come into place. You're going to just hear, this sounds crazy, a voice in your head, whatever, your intuition come through and tell you, that's your desire. You didn't realize you wanted. Go get that. Like, here's your dream. Go do that thing, or go talk to that girl, or whatever it is. Your dream life is going to start coming through. The more you lean into it, listen to your feelings, your intuition, your heart, and your gut. And so by using your right brain, you go from just this 5% conscious thinking mind to being able to tap into your subconscious mind, which is like an iceberg. It's usually not there and you can't sense it, but it's running your life and it has your programming. So that's like 95% of you, you don't even actively sense it or use it. But a great time to tap into that is the first thing you wake up or right before bed at night. You can visualize and you're way more open and receptive at those times. And what that means is your ego has stepped out of the way a little bit. And, the left brain is like a lot more ego and play, I believe, because the rest of your body is just running subconsciously on this autonomic nervous system. That's basically the parts of your body like your heart's beating without you having to actually think about it. And that's all connected through the more limbic part of your brain down here versus completely thinking with your neocortex. And there's a lot that goes into this too with the stages of brain waves and slowing down into its alpha, I believe. But I'm trying to marry these concepts and bring together the picture for you guys because I hear about the same kind of stuff talked about in different ways, different parts of the body, spirituality, science, and I just kind of want to say that I love anatomy, spirituality, psychology, and I'm just a kid, just a humble student of life, doing a lot of research, listening to podcasts on the daily, reading a lot of books, seeking out the truth in the world, and especially what my truth is and what I feel it is to be. Maybe this isn't your truth, but if this resonated with you, please comment down below any questions. I think there's also a lot on here that I still didn't talk about, and I could reread this and get a whole nother thing to say to you guys over and over again. So please let me know if you have any questions. I'd love to make more videos for you guys. Let me know if you enjoyed this format. This really helps me personally bring my thoughts together and paint a bigger picture than us learning things separately or nowadays learning things in a 10-second format on TikTok. So let's bring back the longer attention span and caring and feeling more deeply about things, about people, about relationships. Let's have our hearts open so that we can actually have emotional intelligence and create beautiful lives, beautiful businesses that actually help people and uplift the world. Have our gut, have our intuition, feel God, feel that love, and not just be, materialistic, ego-driven, worker drones, left brain, I must do, right? Let's come back to balance. It's like the Tao. Everything comes back to balance, and maybe this sounds a little imbalanced or crazy, but if you're still here watching at the end of the video, I hope this did something for you guys. Let's do one final gong hit, and or maybe you know what? Maybe I'll play it for you guys for a second. This beautiful gong just came in today from Gongs Unlimited, and I was meditating in front of it playing, and it called itself The Teacher. And then I felt inspired to finally do this video today, so maybe this teacher will always be in these videos for you guys. I'll just go ahead and play. By the way, I've never played a gong before today, ever, so seriously, I mean it when I say I'm just learning alongside you guys. I'm no PhD or anything, but I consult my higher self, meditation, mentors, resources, and dig really deep into things before I just spew it out to the internet. So hopefully we can learn together, all three brains intact. Mind, heart, gut. I'll see you soon. Thank you for being here.